I have never actually considered a roller coaster to be overrated before. I have a ton of underrated coasters in my portfolio, but I've never actually gotten off a ride thinking that it wasn't as good as I thought it would be. You know, that actually might sound really surprising considering that I have 123 credits, but one of those credits, only one, I've considered to be the most overrated coaster I've ridden. It wasn't just a little disappointed either. I was very disappointed. And I actually came off a ride that many people consider to be one of the best in the world, thinking it was just okay and pretty mediocre. Though now I've gotten some more ride on this attraction, I can confidently say that it's not as bad as I thought it once was, but it's still very overrated. And the coaster that I am talking about is none other than El Toro at Six Flags Great Adventure. Now, I really wanted to love this ride so much. Before I even ridden it, I was obsessed with it. I loved this coaster, and whenever I saw someone talking crap about it, I would always defend it in the comments. Thinking back on those experiences, it was a little dumb because I'd never actually experienced El Toro before, but I still defended it so much. And I kind of wish I hadn't, because I kind of built this perception in my mind that it was going to be one of the best coasters in the world, if not the best. And I had the highest expectations ever on my first ride in the back row. My first rides on El Toro was in April of this year, and it was following the ride's 2021 accident. People were talking about how this ride was running a lot slower than it did before, but I wasn't too worried since it had just been almost fully retracked. And I was willing to sacrifice a smoother ride experience for a faster one, because I knew El Toro could still deliver one of the most intense experiences in the world. But I was very wrong. My first ride on El Toro was in the very back seat, so I had the highest expectations for the most intense ride experience. To start El Toro, you take a left-hand turn out of the station and start to ascend your cable lift. Now this is extremely rare, especially on wooden roller coasters, but you absolutely fly up this lift hill. To be completely honest, this is one of the fastest lift hills I have ever ascended. Part of the reason that enthusiasts crave this ride's first drop is the speed in which you take it. Quick disclaimer! This particular review is talking about my first ever rides on El Toro, and they were not very good, so I'm going to say some really negative things, but my most recent rides on El Toro were a lot better, and I'll say that at the end of the review, so just to not throw you off, I do not hate this ride, and this is just my first impressions. Thank you. Once you fully ascend the lift, you slow down a little bit and round a full 180-degree turn, getting a great view of the Safari and Kingda Ka. Then you plummet down one of the best things about this ride, and that is the ride's first drop. While this first drop is amazing, it's still the most overrated part of the ride for me. Though it creates some incredible sustained ejector airtime, it's still not even the best first drop in the park for me. That crown goes to Jersey Devil's first drop. Also, the valley in this drop isn't great, as it does rattle you around quite a bit. I'm not gonna lie here, that's one of the first things I noticed about this ride. Now, the trains on El Toro don't have any padding. It's kind of just hard plastic on the bottom. So it can be pretty painful, especially if you're in some jackhammering moments, which we'll get to. After the first drop, you fly into one of 3 camelbacks this ride has to offer. This one providing some incredible sustained ejector airtime. Now, the camelbacks is also where you'll hear the famous intimate fart sound. Since you fly over these hills with such speed, that sound is caused by the upstop wheels grating against the back of the track. For many coaster enthusiasts, this sound is some extreme ASMR. At this point, I started to notice that El Toro was getting pretty rough. Now, I thought it'd get better, but it didn't. It just got worse as the ride went on. The rock hard seats didn't help either. And also something that didn't help was that we were in a wheel seat, all the way in the back. Both camelbacks were pretty much the same, incredible sustained ejector airtime throughout the train with some pretty rough valleys. Then the turnaround came, and in my opinion, it was one of the most boring and rough parts of the ride. You barely got any positives on that turnaround, nor airtime on the following airtime hill. It was also extremely rough. I can confidently say that this turnaround looks a lot better off-ride than it is on-ride. You then fly up into an airtimeless airtime hill before going through a pretty mediocre speed hill. This was actually the smoothest part of the ride for me, which makes sense since it was pretty forceless. Then you take a sharp left-hand turn and fly into the ride's most famous element, the Rolling Thunder Hill. This hill is actually one of the most insane elements I have ever experienced. It provides some of the strongest sustained ejector airtime I have ever felt. After the Rolling Thunder Hill, you then fly through a giant series of switchbacks. And this was easily the worst part of the ride for me. Not only was it the roughest, though it was just quite forceless, and had almost zero airtime on those little bunny hills at the end. The thing is, I've always had back problems. Even though I'm only 14, I am a hockey goalie and I spend most of my time on the ice either hunched over or on my knees. And this entire section of the ride was just quite painful for me. And I remember thinking while I was on it that I just wanted the ride to end. And when we finally hit the final brake run, I was actually in a lot of pain, and I didn't know if I wanted to even get another ride on it. And I came off of El Toro with a damaged back and also a damaged heart. Though my first two rides on El Toro were extremely disappointing, just a few days ago I got some pretty amazing rides on it where it was much smoother and I didn't ride on a wheel seat. Though I still find El Toro to be extremely overrated, and I don't think that it can be considered elite if it differs so much in ride experience, just sitting one row across. Though I still prefer Jersey Devil for its smooth layout and its good layout, I still think El Toro is a great ride and is still a must-ride at Six Flags Great Adventure. Now, those are all just my personal opinions of El Toro. I know a lot of people absolutely adore this ride, and I get why you do. It has some of the strongest and most sustained ejector airtime on the planet. Just personally, I do not think that this is an amazing attraction. I don't hate this ride, but I don't absolutely love it either. I hope you guys really enjoyed my first video that I've uploaded in 2 months. I'm sorry I haven't really uploaded that much anymore. Sorry, it's not like I've been busy or anything, I've just been extremely lazy. But I'm going to try to get some more off-ride footage and reviews for you guys since in around a few days I will be having a trip to Canada where I will be visiting Canada's Wonderland and La Ronde. So I'll try to get as much off-ride footage as I can for you guys. Anyway, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy the content, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.